Chapter 9. Reflections in the Cave. Love and Attachment. Something about Krishna's reflections on love and attachment on the tape I am listening to today has me wondering. All universe is energy. It throbs with truths and plans that only it knows. I am but a tiny speck within this pulsating orb. When I vibrate in rhythm with the universe, I discover harmony. When I vibrate out of rhythm, I find dissonance. Attachment stops me from vibrating with the universe. The more I am free of attachment, the more easily I vibrate. Attachment comes to me in many ways. It comes to me in the form of love, for my family, for my body. It comes to me in the form of fear, of loss, of freedom. It comes to me in the form of desire, for wealth, for fame. It comes to me in the form of illusions, of permanence, of self-importance. As long as strings exist, I do not fully vibrate with the universe. I seek out Krishna for explanations. Krishna tells me that attachment is the spring of all suffering. He tells me that a person who is not attached to his ego or possessions or emotions cannot experience suffering. But no one, not even the most illustrious of us, are free from attachment, he points out. He narrates the story of Jada Bharata, after whom Bharat, now called India, got its name. The Hindu way of life, says Krishna, dictates that a man passes time on earth in 4 phases: as a student, as a family man, as a spiritual seeker, and finally as a renunciate, seeking liberation from the cycles of life and death. King Bharata, the greatest among kings, after excelling in his first 2 roles, retires to the forest to seek spiritual knowledge and freedom. He sits and meditates in his humble abode when fate places a baby fawn in his care. The king saves the fawn, nurtures it, and inevitably becomes attached to it as a father would to a beloved child. His waking hours are filled with concern for the safety of the little deer, so much so that he loses interest in his spiritual quest. When many years later death comes calling, he dies thinking of his deer rather than the ideals of liberation and paradise which would have freed him from the eternal cycles of suffering. The man whose powerful mind was able to break past his lifelong attachments to power, comforts, and family could not break free of his attachment to that little deer, and therefore he continues his cycle of birth and rebirth when he could have easily stepped out of it. Which is why, Arjuna, he continues, there is love that liberates and love that binds. If you love hoping to be loved back, you suffer, because the nature of the universe is to love unconditionally. By adding expectations to your love, you go against the grain of the universe. So we must love as the universe does, because we can and because we must, always taking care not to become bound to the outcome of love, since therein lies sorrow. The reward of love is the act of loving itself, for when we love deeply, without expectations, without fear, we manifest God, and God becomes us. I wish someone had taught me this truth at the outset. My experience of love would have been so different.